Right, morning everybody. Today we're talking about performance anxiety. It's not what you think it is, and branding and you. So let's have a look. So what we're actually talking about here is what is the value of the brand that you joined, and what is a brand, and how does it all hang together. So let's show you. On that page, you can see there are a number of brands. All of them are recognizable, and all of them evoke some kind of emotion in you. Whether it's BMW or Starbucks, IKEA, all of them have some visceral effect on one's body because we've been programmed. The marketing guys have hammered it into us about the value and about the what you can expect from each brand. So Rolex has got a very clear picture of what to expect from them, and if you wear a Rolex, you'll know what people will think of you. And it's reassuring for a client, it's reassuring for me to know about a brand. So if I was having a lunch with all of you, and I said, okay, come for lunch, I'm going to buy you some lunch. Let's just pop across the road and get fried chicken from Cully's Fried Chicken Emporium and Surf Shop. I would be less confident buying from Cully's Fried Chicken Emporium and Surf Shop than I would be from buying from Kentucky. Why? Because KFC has taught us. We know exactly what to expect. The brand's reassuring. We know what the value proposition is. There's no doubt about what you can get at KFC. Cully, on the other hand, is a one-man brand, and we're not quite sure what you can and can't do. And maybe his chicken's the best in the world. It's possible. But is it worth the risk? Now, as the value of the product gets bigger, the people are less likely to take a risk on it. I mean, it's obvious. If you're buying chicken, you might take a chance on Cully. If you're buying a house, would you buy it from Cully, the Surf Shop, and estate agent? You might be less inclined to do so. You might prefer to go to a brand like Property.coza, which is a national brand, 1,000 agents, 40 offices across the country. It's got a head office. It's got many offices you can complain to and be safe with. So brands are very valuable in that thing because they give reassurance to the client. The other thing they do is they add value and uniqueness. Each one of them's got a personality. Every one of these brands, Yves Saint Laurent has got a personality. Hugo Boss has got a personality. Microsoft, we know what they mean. We know what they've reached out and taught us about themselves. So you cannot achieve this in your personal capacity. It's going to be very unlikely unless you turn yourself into a brand. Okay, and if turning yourself into a brand is a very long story. To teach the world what you are, to get a name like Microsoft, the most recognizable IT brand in the world, is going to take you 50 years and billions and billions and billions of dollars. Okay, that's how it is. So what you need to do is decide on the association that you need to join with. And there's a reason that you want to join with a well-established brand. And that is because of the value, the uniqueness, and the personality that comes with the brand that you don't have in your own right. Okay. What it also does is it affirms the position of a premier sort of product. You know, we know what BMW stands for. Nobody's got any doubt about BMW. Nobody tries to buy a cheap BMW. We know they are a premier product. And if you buy a BMW, if you buy the new 7 Series, everybody's going to think you've made it. And if you buy a City Golf, then you probably haven't made it as much in people's heads, because that's what the brand values have taught us. Okay, so if you want to know what the real effect is, you need to look at what the brand can do for you. And if you look at Adidas, now Adidas in its own right is a very powerful brand. Been going for many years. It's a sporting brand, obviously, we all know that. But what they decided to do was pair with the London Olympics. And when they did pair with the London Olympics, cost them billions. They joined them and they supported the athletes, and they focused on the Olympic Games. And what happened? Their sales went up by 15% worldwide. Now, 15% is a lot of money for a big company. 15% sales growth. Okay, now what is it that made that? It's simply because the brand of the Olympics is such a quality brand. The Olympics has got everything. It's aspiration, it's pure, it's clean, athleticism, it's lovely, there's no money in it. That's what they've taught us. The reality about the Olympics is something else. But the brand of the Olympics is beautiful. So when you align with a proper brand, you reap the benefits of that brand because people start looking at you in the same way as they see the brand. So if you drive up in a Rolls Royce, people will look at you different if you drive up on a scooter. This is a fact of life, and you all know this, okay? So, and the way I suppose to look at it is if you were to buy Picasso for $45 million. Let's say buy a Picasso. So you've got two options now. Fly to Heathrow, land there, get into a limo, drive to Christie's of London, go to the auction and bid. And pay 45 million rand for a Picasso, pack it up and come home with it. Or go onto Gumtree and go looking for a Picasso and pay 45 million rand for a Picasso on Gumtree. You know, which one's going to make you sleep better? When you've done the deal, which one do you think is going to be more valuable to you? Which one will you actually do? Now, there's nobody that's going to buy a Picasso on Gumtree because it just doesn't have the same brand connotations. Now, remember that the Gumtree brand is an excellent brand, but it's not associated with fine art. So you've got to be careful what you associate with and what the meaning of the brand is. Christie's of London is a true and trusted brand, been going for 100 years, and they sell fine art. So you can buy your Picasso, then you can sleep comfortably that night. So that's what we talk about with brands and the association around the brands. So why am I talking about this? Okay, well, let's have a look. So this leads us onto brand positioning. Now, every brand that you join, because what I'm trying to say is that you as the agent needs to identify with a brand and sell yourself to the market within the brand. And the reason is because of positioning and because of the things I've spoken about before, because of the personal, the character, the uniqueness and the value of a brand. A brand can be positioned anywhere. If you look at this matrix that I put up here, this is just vehicles. So either it's a high price brand, okay, or it's a low price brand. And it could be low quality and low price. So we could get a Chinese import or a Daihatsu, not a Daihatsu, a Chery or one of these sort of Indian made cars, and they're not as good. They just aren't. Okay, they're entry level, they're cheap, and they're of low quality. Or you go to the upper end of the market, on the other side, then you can look at the high price and high quality vehicles. We're in the Mercedes, the Porsches, the BMWs, that level. You know exactly what you're getting. Now, if you join a brand like Property Koza, I don't know where we are on our matrix of the things, but I do know one thing: we're in the top 5 in the country. So we're with the Seats and the Sotheby's and the Property Kozas and the Pan Gardens and the Remaxes. We're right up there. Okay, we're right up with the big boys. So now it's only a matter of you're in the ballpark. We're on the field, man. We've been called up. We're on the field with the big guys. Now, where you put us in this brand matrix is actually not that important. Why? Because if you're a premier brand like Porsche, the equivalent in South Africa might be, I don't even know, let's say Christie's Real Estate. You don't want to be part of Christie's because why we sell houses in Rand Park? In Randburg. It's futile to be a premier brand in Randburg. You know, then you need to go to the Atlantic Seaboard and be a real top class Sotheby's of London type brand. But that's not what we want to be. So whether we are in the high price stuff or down here with the Toyotas and the Hondas, high quality, lower price. And I think that's kind of where Property Koza hang out. Good quality, good service at a reasonable price, doing the mass market type thing, selling second-hand houses and doing rentals. That's what we do. We're not bespoke. We don't focus only on investment properties. We don't do 20 million rand and above properties. That's not our bundle. So a brand versus a one-man band. A one-man band can never pitch himself to the market. You cannot identify a one-man band. You don't know what he is. Where a brand is almost instantly recognizable. If you don't know where to position it, at least you know it's a brand. Okay, so if you go to Cape Town for the first time and you see Fishmonger and you've never been to one, and you see it's a national brand with 40 branches, you know what you're going to get there. You know it'll be fine. You know you'll actually get a reasonable meal at a reasonable price and it'll be fine. If it's a no-name brand, you won't know how to position it and you won't use it. Now, as the price of the article gets bigger, the clients will be a little bit more picky because they're not going to use Cully, remember, for a 20 million rand sale. If Cully's as a Cully's surf shop emporium and housing sales, because it's just too risky, okay, especially in these big assets. So whether Property Koza is better or worse than the rest of the brands is not relevant. It's like saying, is Mr. Price a better brand than Gucci? Well, I don't know. It depends what you're asking for, because they're both brands. Mr. Price has certainly got more stores than Gucci in South Africa. Gucci's got more expensive clothes than Mr. Price, but they both serve different markets and they both got different uses. So whether you associate with a brand like that is only important for what you are selling. Once you've associated with the brand, then you use the brand values to sell your product and to apply your trade. Okay, so that leads us to your brand. Where are we with our brand? Now you've decided to be partners with Property Kosa. Now this is a brilliant brand. In my estimation, it's perfect for Randburg and Johannesburg, and it's good for you. So let's have a look. The reason I say that is because the work has been done. So you join a brand, the work has been done. You need to align yourself with the brand because the brand's already done everything for you. They've already established their name over 10, 12 years. They've already got 1,000 agents out there. There are a lot of good people, a lot of good agents doing a lot of good work behind the scenes here on this brand. And we're number one in the country, just by the way. And our top agents are therefore number one in the country because they're the top agents in number one in the country. So you're dealing with the best of the best in a brand that's amongst the top 5 top brands. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that you don't reinvent the wheel. Okay, so now that you know what the brand is and you've associated yourself with the brand sold itself to the market. What you don't want to do now is change things on it. So what you do if you join Mercedes-Benz as a salesperson, on the first day you don't say, you know what would look better on this Mercedes-Benz? If I broke off that little badge that sticks out, I don't like it. It looks like a sight for some kind of sniper rifle. I'm not having that. I'll break them all off because I think the brand will look better without it. You've got to be very careful when you make changes like that because they've been building this brand since 1912 and you've decided that you don't like it. It's not about you. It's about what the market sees the brand. It's about what the experience of the client is, what the value system is of the brand, what is its value add. And you can, but you shouldn't make changes. And you'll see in our group, our top producing agents, they use the system as it is. They don't fine tune it. They don't make changes. They don't add their little spin to it. They work the brand as presented. Why? Because the brand's been tested by 1,000 agents over 10 years. And you'd have to be very smart to find a way to fix this in your first or second year of real estate. I would venture, I guess, to say, don't do that. Just use the brand as it is, because it's going to be a lot easier for you, and it's going to be a lot better for you to use something that's tried and tested, that's solid, that you can present to the market. So don't reinvent the wheel, use the systems. And it's the old adage of like, let the dog bark. So when you buy a dog, you don't put him inside, lock him up, and then you stand outside and bark at the neighbors when they come to your gate. That's not how it works. You let the dog bark. Okay, so you bought the brand, you've got the dog is Property Kosa, let it work for you. Let it bark. Don't stymie it. Don't muzzle it. Don't say, I'm not using the social media. Don't say, oh, I'm not using the CRM and the newsletter templates. I'm not using the social media downloads that I can use to send out to my WhatsApp groups. I mean, to say that is not letting the dog do its work. Why would you do that? Why would you align yourself with a brand and then not do it? So I've got a job now at Sandton Mercedes-Benz, and my first day of work, I've got my Mercedes-Benz top, my tie on, I've got my gold watch, and I walk in there in flip-flops and shorts because I'm meant to reinvent the way Mercedes sells cars. Maybe you will, but I don't think you will. I don't think it'll work like that. I think the better way around it, Mercedes will say to you, hey, don't put your pants on, because it's going to be better for us and our brand if you will comply with us. So it's important to listen to the brand logic. What is it that we're presenting and offering you? Look deeply into it and try and understand it, and then use it, because it does work. And I suppose I'm saying this because I've heard a couple of agents with this performance anxiety. You know, they're saying stuff like, I can't compete with the agents in this group, and probably there's so many people doing well, and I'm not on the board, and I'm not contributing, and I don't understand it, because who are you competing with? It's not about who you're competing with, it's about you and your partner, which is me. So you and I together with the brand have got a offering to the market. Why would you compete with somebody else in your office? I don't think it's the right mindset. I think you should be looking outward, not inward. So just competing to get your name on the whiteboard appears to me that you've missed the point of your job, because that's not what you do for a living. Competing is lovely, and putting your name on is excellent, and winning number one in the group is fantastic, but it's actually not what we're about. Okay, so what you need to do is maybe just change your mind a bit. Don't look around you in envy Don't look around you and say, ooh, I can't compete and I'm not as good. I think that's the wrong mindset. I think you need to look outside the organization for the real competitors. Who is it that you should be competing with? And in my estimation, those are the other agents out there, and you need to deal with your clients effectively. That's a healthy competition. Trying to compete with a person next to you about sales is I think it's the wrong way around. So the true competitors are not within the group, they're out the group. So if you're within a group that's a successful group, that's got 5 or 6 top producing agents in the country, and itself is a top producing thing, it draws you up, it makes you stronger and better. And even if you're not producing right now, remember that this is a long game. This is not a sprint. This is many years. Over many years, you are going to be performing in a better business with better skills, with better training, with better people around you. It will help you. Now, you should not look at them as your competition and look at them and say, I'm not sufficient. I think that's a mistake. You should be looking at them only with what can I learn from these guys. You know, this is fantastic to be part of a successful group. Because what's the alternative? I'm going to join a group that's the worst in the country with no sales agents that perform, and I'll be number 1 amongst 30 people that never sell. Like, your logic doesn't work. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot be part of a successful team and then feel bad, and then rather join a bad team and all starve to death. Makes no sense. Okay, do you understand what's going on? So, the aim is not to keep up. You shouldn't be aiming to keep up. You shouldn't aim to get your name on the board. You should aim to win your own race. You should focus on yourselves, make sure that you're doing the right things in order to succeed for yourself. Looking at the other guys and saying, I want to be like them, is fantastic for fun and for goal setting and for just for your own edification, but it's certainly not a way to live. You cannot compete directly with neighbors. You don't know where they are in their lives. You don't know what backgrounds they come from. You don't know what their experiences are. You know nothing about them. It's like seeing a man drive past in a Porsche and say, I want to be like him. That man could be looking for a pole to drive into because he's finished with his life. He's tired of it. You don't know what's going on in people's lives or heads. Please don't get caught up in that. Okay, so let's have a look. What is it then that we can do about this anxiety? What do the real sales guys do? What do the successful guys do? The first thing they do is they've got a laser focus. Laser focus means they focus on the things that are necessary for them to be successful. They don't look at each other and say, he's got 2 sales and I've only got 1 and that's not fair. I wish Property Codes would change the way they did their logins. Their logins are terrible. No, they ignore all of that. They focus on the things that are going to make them money. These are income producing activities. That's the only thing. Now, if you phone one of our top agents and you say to them, come, I want to buy you lunch and we can have a couple of beers and we can go out later that night, they're going to say to you, my friend, I'm busy. I haven't got time to sit around having beer with you. I'll meet you for 20 minutes and I can fit you in next Wednesday. Laser focus. I've got a job to do and I'm doing my job. They don't sit around hoping. They don't wonder how they're going to get onto the whiteboard. They actually make it happen by doing income producing things. And one example of an income producing thing is you pick up your cell phone. You see my cool cover? Nice, eh? Anyway, that's not the point. They pick up their phone and they phone and speak to people. I want listings. Why? Because they know the single biggest income producing activity. Write this down. The single biggest income producing activity is getting a listing, because listings are everything. Without listings, you have nothing. Zero. Okay. Listings are everything. So get them. The second thing that occurs to me is that you should slow down. Now, this might be counterintuitive, but a real agent can come to a sales training meeting on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Why? Because he plans his life and he's not frantic. And he doesn't get calls last minute. Can I come? Yeah, I'll come. No, I can't come. I've got an appointment. Why? Because they slow down, they plan their lives, they're doing income producing activities, and there's never an occasion that you can't make an appointment. If you can't make the appointment, why did you book the appointment? It's ridiculous. So you shouldn't be frantic. And one agent told me they showed 20 people a property. 20 people. I hope it was in one sitting. No. Over the period of a week. What? And how much was the sale price? No, it was a rental for $4,000. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why on earth would you drive 20 times to a property if you're only earning $4,000? You're not earning anything. You're losing. Okay. Rather have a power hour, put all 20 people into that place in one go, and then watch them scrum for it. You'll rent it out in one day then, if you put that kind of pressure. And you won't drive there 20 times, and you'll save yourself a lot of stress and drama, and you'll save yourself a lot of time. This game's not reactive. People don't make stupid decisions to buy houses like, oh, it's nice, I'll buy it today. That's so seldom. That's not the reality. The reality is people think about it. And if you tell somebody who's buying a house, please can we postpone the appointment till tomorrow? They're not going to not buy the house. It's so unlikely. It's not worth all the frankness in case you miss one sale, because that in case is not a real scenario. I've never missed a sale because I suddenly couldn't do it. Now, this is not the same as not responding. This is not the same as not responding. I'm saying you answer your phone, you get in touch, you send the email, you make the call, you book the appointments. But booking an appointment for tomorrow is just as good as booking an appointment for today in the mind, because it's a settled, done thing. You don't have to drop everything to show a property. So slow down, make sure you get your stuff right. Rather go to the appointment tomorrow when you've got your file ready, when you've got your CMA done, when you've got your listing presentation printed, when you can present the person with the brand. Why with the brand? Because the brand adds value. It's got personality, it's got character, and reassures the client. If you stagger in there like a steaming wreck and like, oh, I haven't got any papers with me, but I'll show you around quickly, and you walk out, the only thing that the person will remember about you is that you are disorganized, hurried, and a little bit frantic. Whereas the other person has booked the appointment properly, he's got all the paperwork in place, he's got lovely flyers to show the person, you're settled, you're calm, you can make the presentation to 1 or 20 people, it doesn't matter who's there. You're organized is the important thing. The other thing is to take away a bit of pressure off you. Sales pressure is just the thing on sales pressure. It's important to note that I Googled the most pressurized jobs in the world, and the top 20 of them didn't mention sales. Anesthetist, doctor, IT professional, soldier, trauma, nurse, those, and teachers, those were highly stressful, highly aggravating jobs. Sales was not part of this. And I was wondering, why are we so stressed then? And it's starting to occur to me that the stress of sales is coming from ourselves. It's not coming from the market. We are putting ourselves under pressure by being frantic, by being ill-prepared, by not slowing down, by not focusing on income-producing stuff. You've got to focus on what you can do and what you can do right. Laser focus rather than frantic behavior, which will put you under pressure. Okay, so you've got to use the systems and the sales to buy this dog. This dog has got some very clever tools in it. Navigator is brilliant. CRM is brilliant. The listing management system is brilliant. The app that you got on your cell phone is brilliant. Matchmaking, use it. Use these tools. Why would you join BMW South Africa to sell their cars and then transfer Volkswagens out of the car park? Like, dude, use the technology, use the systems, use the branding. The branding's there for a purpose. If you don't like the colors and the branding, understand it's not about you. It's about the client who receives a comfort, who receives a perception, who understands the values of the brand. It's all about the perception of the client, not about what you think about our brand. It's not about what you think of the CRM system. It's about the clients receiving a beautiful newsletter with your latest information on. Okay. So, the other thing you need to do is focus on the sales activity, not the outcome. You shouldn't be focusing on the whiteboard. I am going to make a sale. I hear you guys talk about this all the time. This month, damn it, Anton, this month I'm making a sale. And I look at people like that and I go, no, you're not. I know you're not. Hey, well, am I clever? No, because you've got nothing in your pipeline. You haven't got any listings. How can you make a sale without listings? Dude, please help me. Help me to help you. Okay, so if you want to focus on sales activities that produce goods, you will get the outcome. What you cannot do is say, I'm going to make 4 sales. It's the same as that planning lesson we went through, where we said, okay, we're going to get a Lamborghini, and then we make everything fit that sales plan. It's rubbish. You can't work like that. Look at the facts. How many listings have you got? Are they the right price? And are they photographs good? And are they listed correctly? Because if that's true, you will make a sale next month, guaranteed. Okay, but because in this market you don't control everything, you actually control very little. The only thing you can control is yourself and your behavior and your listings and your work. So do that. Don't try and control your clients. Don't try and force your client to buy something. It's completely ridiculous. So control what you can control and focus on the activities of sales, which is income producing activities. Make the calls, get the listings, do the work, take the photographs, change the wording, update it regularly, all income producing good stuff. Not today I'm going to make a sale. That's wishful thinking. That's the secret. It's absolute nonsense. The universe does not work like that. It doesn't give you things because it smarts you. It gives you things because you work for it. Right. The last thing we should talk about is the practicing at performance levels. Okay. If you want to be a world-class boxer, like an Olympic champion boxer, you better step into the ring with a couple of guys that are world champions. Because if you don't, on that very first fight in the world champion fight, you're going to get knocked out. Because you've got to practice at the intensity to which you want to perform. Now, this comes back to, if we took 10 guys and we put them in a room and I trained them somebody trained them for 3 days on how to phone, how to get listings, and how to make yourself income producing activities work for you. And I took another 10 guys and sent them to the pub. And then next week we put them in a room and I said, go. Who do you think is going to get the most listings and ultimately sell the most properties? And if you say the guys in the pub, you're wrong. It's not going to be them. It's actually going to be the people that practice at performance level. That means they trained to do their job. So when the objections came, they knew what to say. When they were caught with a difficult question, they had an answer. Because why? They trained under pressure for it. You need to train and learn. And if you look at the meetings that we have, the training that we have, one thing that sticks out to me all the time is how our top producers never miss it. I don't know why they listen to me. But what I do know is there's something that goes on in a person's mind when you've decided to open your mind to be receptive to training. It's no longer me out there selling houses. It's now me listening for a change. And things happen. I might say one word that can change your mind and you go, oh my goodness, that's what I should do. And you try it and you test it. So training and meetings and listening are as important. They might not be income producing activities per se, but they are certainly fundamental to your success. Why? Because you cannot just train or cannot just be and expect to perform at a high level when the chips are down, when you're caught in the corner, when the seller's asking you hard questions, when your whole deal's collapsing around you and you bumbling around and you don't know what to say. You are the author of your own peril. If you don't know the answers, you will lose your deal, because this is where we actually sell houses. Not the listing, not the sale, not the client. It's got to do with the negotiation afterwards, or hanging the thing together. Then you've got to know what's going on. You've got to know who to ask and when to ask it. Okay? And you can't do that alone. You've got to learn from the oaks of grey head, because we've done it and we failed at it many times, and eventually you learn it. So you practice performance under pressure, and it allows you to perform out there effortlessly. What you cannot do is not practice under pressure, because then you are going to perform not effortlessly, you're going to perform frantically. And I think that some of you are in the wrong cycle. You're underperforming because you're not practicing the right way. So when you are called on for performance, it's a frantic, stumbling mess where you should be confident, calm, relaxed, slow, and people want to see the agent that they're dealing with as a confident person who understands the business, not as somebody who steams in at the last second with no paperwork, frantically trying to organize stuff. Oh, I forgot, I'm running around, now I don't know the answers. Not the right way around. So this is the link, I think, between branding and you, and anxiety and pressure. What I'm trying to say is you've bought into a brand. It's a good brand. It's one of the best brands in the country. Its systems, its technology, its look, its feel, its value is perfect for you and in this environment that you're sitting. You are competent as long as you come to training, get trained, get skilled, stay up to speed, stay on top of your game. Now, if you put those two together and you focus on your job of getting listings, and you focus on slowing down, on being professional, of not getting rattled, and you can only do that with practice. Practice, train, talk to people, understand, focus on what is going to make you money, which is income producing. So that in a nutshell is how to link a brand to an anxious agent. So don't be anxious, go and sell some houses. Thank you.